Two idiots talking over stuff. Talking over. Talking over. Talking over.
Wow, what's up, you fucking idiot?
What's up, you fucking idiot and idiots?
You know, just chilling, having a nice little, fuck it, it's Sunday, I don't give a shit. It's Sunday when we're recording this.
When you say I don't give a shit.
I is Al by Night on Twitter, otherwise known as Jesse, which is my real person name.
I like that you lead with your social media handle instead of your name.
Yeah, well, I have an identity issue, as you know.
I'm at Felicia3 on Twitter and Instagram, but you could also refer to me by my real person name, which is Felicia. And together, we are two idiots talking over stuff.
We've never done that before.
But it was working, and then you stopped.
That's always cheesy. I knew it before I started.
Oh, well, we did a little bit. So we have a website. It's www.idiots.fm, where you can find links to all of our socials, including our Discord, where you can chat with everybody else listening, talk about episodes, post pictures of your pets, and also ask us questions. You could also do the same by emailing us at hello@idiots.fm. Otherwise, you can find us at Tito's Pod everywhere. Currently most active on Twitter, but Jesse's also making those TikToks, baby.
Yeah, I don't know when. We just had 2 in a row because we had 2 good concepts, so I don't know when I'm going to make the next TikTok. But it's on us to be funny.
Yeah, we're going to come up with some bangers in this episode.
Hell yeah. Felicia.
Jesse.
What's going on?
Trains.
Little inside bit.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to get into that. We watched a live stream of a train track for a long time as a bit.
It was my fault. We might as well.
It was Jesse's fault.
In the next section we have, what did we watch last week? It was Faust in VR. So we're doing this thing in VR where like everybody picks their favorite horror movie and then it's a playlist and we just hit random. So every week we're going to get someone's favorite horror movie. And this week was someone's favorite horror or a horror they wanted us to watch anyway, was Faust, which was a comic book I'd never heard of before.
Same.
But what happens in VR is if it's boring, eventually something will like come over top of the screen from YouTube in a browser window.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was a mistake, but I made the mistake of bringing up that I knew about this online train culture where there were people that would just watch live streams of trains.
Yeah.
So we pulled up one of these live streams. There was like 100 people in it from Flagstaff, Arizona I don't remember what time it was, but I want to say it was at least 9 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, probably even later.
Yeah. And so whenever a train would come, we would just say train. Because, like, what else are you supposed to do? Really, I think what we discovered is those streams are just a social place for boomers.
Yeah, the thing is, everyone seemed to know each other and, like, know things about what was going on in each other's lives. Like they do this often.
Yeah, very boomery, though. Like, I think everybody in that stream was chatting and reading the chat through bifocals.
Well, and I think it's worth noting that we did observe the chat for a while before hopping in.
Yeah.
And, just to get kind of everyone's personalities and activities down. And I believe it was you who first entered the chat with a $2 donation. I don't recall what your first message in the group said, but you certainly did give them actual real human money.
I did give them money. It was mean. I was being mean, but I gave them money for it.
You kind of weren't. Like, Yeah, there were 3
I
of
was
us in the chat trolling, but nobody was saying anything mean. We were
no,
just,
we're just being over the top about trains.
yeah.
I think I said make it train.
Which got very mixed reactions from the people.
And then I made another joke that was no rated RR chat, and then everybody loved that. All the boomers
Yeah. But
kept
then you
talking
made
about my no
another
rated.
joke when one of the mods by the name of Dark Watch, I believe, called you out for something.
Yeah.
And you said more like Dork Watch.
Yeah.
And then got
he
like
timed me
immediately
out.
banned.
He timed me out. They weren't gonna ban me because I was giving them money.
Yeah.
That was a fun experience. What a weird
It really
experience.
was. I don't know how to like the trail of getting to where we get in VR nights is so muddy and takes so much to explain.
Yeah.
But it's always a good time.
It is.
Other than that, we fucked around more in VR. We so our buddy Mike, who I'm sure a lot of you know,
Yeah. Falzone.
uh he has a show in LA called The Surrounded Show. It's a crowd work only show that he hosts, I think, once a month at the Hollywood Improv typically.
Mm-hmm.
And he was approached, I guess, by Facebook to adapt the show for a VR experience with other comedians.
Well, it was just for laughs. So Mike
Mm.
went to JFL this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was like their 40th anniversary. And in the comedy community, JFL is a big deal. If you make it on that stage, that's a good sign for your career. And then I think at JFL, just for laughs, they approached him about licensing the show.
Well, whatever the origins were, that show was happening on Friday on an app called Horizon Worlds.
Yeah.
So beforehand, we took to playing around in Horizon Worlds to kind of test it, get a lay of the land, and see what you could do in the app.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, it's kind of hot garbage right now.
Yeah, that app is not good.
No.
And the funny thing is, like, I foresaw this. So I knew Mike's show was coming up on Friday. So what was it, like Tuesday? Was it Tuesday when we went in there?
It was definitely early in the week.
I was like, I'm gonna go in there and try to figure this out because I know it's gonna suck to try to figure it out like on the spot.
I'm so glad we didn't do
that. And so we did. We went in Tuesday and fucked around and actually had some fun.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where I feel like it's novel for a little
Well,
bit.
it's also just not user friendly. So it took us like 20 plus minutes just to figure out how to talk to each other in the app.
Yeah,
and
that was a nightmare.
After that, we did manage to find some like little games to play, little worlds to explore, and we had fun, but we also had fun because we're idiots who like to fuck around doing dumb shit.
Yeah, we were like lightsaber jousting, which if it wasn't in VR, you could play that game in a browser.
Oh, sure.
And you play it for like 30 seconds, you'd be like, this is trash, and never touch it again.
Yeah, you also have the added thing of, because it's in VR, getting very motion sick. Not a whole lot of time. Plus, at one point, our game was rated by a bunch of actual children, and then I felt very old. But then I'm like, dude, whose mom is out there buying their kids a $300 Oculus headset? It's now like $400.
No, it's for kids. Like,
that's so wild to me. My parents would never.
No. Well, I would have never had it. My thing is though that VR is for kids. Like, we're invading it as adults.
That's so bonkers.
But we don't really run into them because we do like closed session stuff.
Yeah.
Like the big screen VR app that we use for watching movies in. If you go into those public rooms, kids.
Which, like,
it's all kids.
I mean, I guess
real weird, by the way.
Yeah. Like, I guess I understand the fact that, any kind of new gaming technology is essentially geared towards children primarily,
Yeah.
but just it's not an extremely accessible thing. So it's just weird to me that so many parents are like, "Here, son, go fuck off with this."
I could see myself doing it, but with more, I think I would be like, I'd be more aware of what they're actually seeing in there and then try to put some controls on it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't
But
there's just so many like public chat rooms right now. It's almost like the early days of the internet.
that's
You can
exactly what it is.
Yeah, like you can just be in a public space with a bunch of creepos.
If
And
you
there's
go,
no regulations.
after we were messing around in Horizon Worlds when you guys went to, well, you guys got sick basically.
I was gonna throw up.
I stayed in there it's like 3 or 4 hours. I was in a comedy club and I wasn't having fun per se. I just didn't have like anything else to do. So I was sitting in the same place in a comedy club, just kind of like people listening. And it's a mixture of kids and grown ass adults and drunk people. And it's a mixture that shouldn't exist.
No.
And it made me really think like Meta's whole thing is they have all of our personal information.
Sure, because it's connected to Facebook.
Right. Why aren't they segregating their VR audiences between kids and adults using that personal information?
That was kind of an issue with the actual Surrounded show night, where yes, you
Yeah.
could talk to your friends, but there wasn't a way to all be in one group and go into the show together. I
Yeah,
think
you
it would
could
only let 4 people from a group into the same room at once.
you could be in like a party in the meta chat.
Mhm.
You could have a bunch of people in there, but when it came time to actually go into the virtual club or whatever, it was 4 people at a time and it would like split you randomly.
And then put you in a room with strangers,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense to me. Also, there's a way in the VR chat to turn your own audio to party only, nearby, or everyone.
Mhm.
But regardless of what you choose, you can still hear other people if their audio is set to nearby or everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like we're sitting in the show. I had my audio on party only, I think, but I think maybe at some point it was on nearby, and I think we were actively annoying people around us because they kept moving away from us.
Probably, yeah.
But
There's probably
also I
people
kept
in
hearing people talking, and I'm like, I want to talk to my friends right now.
it was probably in people in our same situation, like partied with each other who happened to be
Mhm.
near us that could hear us.
Yeah,
But that's because the party thing was fucked up, so we had to turn on everyone.
right.
So, like we ran into Jackie
Mhm.
in
Because I
our club.
recognized her laugh.
Yeah, she's got a great laugh. It's like very recognizable.
Uh-huh.
And Jackie was uh
She was not in our
no,
party.
she was in another party,
Uh-huh, but she
but
was in
in
our
our
room.
club and away from her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So it's like it's so they didn't do it right. They
No.
launched this thing too early.
Yeah,
I went
100%.
and went back and watched that Surrounded show on Facebook. Way better.
Oh, I'm
S-
sure.
A million times better than
Just
it was in VR.
because the nature of watching something in a situation like that is there's so much audio coming at you from so many different areas, it's impossible to pay attention.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun concept. And I think that if they had let us all be in a party in the same room watching the thing, it would have been really fun. But just
Yeah.
because of how broken the metaverse is right now, it was super disjointed. The show is still super cool, but I recommend watching it, like you said, on Facebook.
Yeah. And even though I knew it was going to be a clusterfuck and I went in on Tuesday to figure it out, I was still late to the show.
Oh, yeah. We all showed up about 30 minutes beforehand in case we had difficulty, and we
Yeah.
still had so much difficulty we
Yeah.
were all
I,
late.
I missed the first two. Like
Yeah.
I missed Nikki Glazer, which, that's okay with me. And then I missed Fortune Feimster, which was
I
not okay with me
I
because
know,
I
I
love
only
her.
caught the end of hers.
I got in like right at the beginning of Nikki Byer's set, and I was so pissed off about being like going in there Tuesday to figure it out and then still being fucked over that
Yeah.
it ruined Nikki Byers' set for me.
At one point, we even got like a mod involved.
Or Nicole Byers, not Nikki Byers. Yeah, we got a community guide who sounded like he was stoned.
And also didn't really know much more than us.
No, he helped me though. Because the reason I couldn't get into that show is because the PC app wasn't set up for it. It never says it anywhere.
My God.
So I was on Horizon Worlds on the PC app looking at a poster for community shows or something. Everybody who was in the headset app was seeing a surrounded poster on that wall.
Mhm.
I did not know that. So I kept walking into this wall that was supposed to teleport me into the club, and it wasn't working. And then I finally, like, when we were talking to that community guide, I was like, I'm on a PC app. Is that something? And he said, oh yeah, people on PC are having issues.
Meanwhile, all of us are like, just walk into the wall, Jesse.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was doing. I kept just walking into this wall expecting something to happen. And then the community guy was like, yeah, I guess maybe just try the headset version. And I did, and it worked. And that was really fucking annoying.
Yeah. They certainly were not ready to launch. That said, I hope
No.
they sort out these issues and it becomes more user-friendly in the future, because I think it could be fun and cool if you have a big group of people to just like do stuff with your own friends.
Yeah.
But I really don't want to go into chat rooms. I don't want to go into open mics and listen to people sing for too long.
No. I don't like that part. If that's done correctly, that's okay. The open mic stuff, I think it could be good for comedy maybe, but unregulated as it is, it's not good. And that app sucks.
Yes, it does.
And I don't know. I think Meta's, like, the developer, the project manager maybe, like, left like 2 days ago. So I think Mark Zuckerberg mad at him maybe.
Ooh, could be.
Because Mark Zuckerberg took a screenshot in Horizon Worlds and it got destroyed on social media because it looked real bad.
Ooh.
It basically looks like, how we know it to look, which is cartoony.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of options for clothing and stuff. So it looked bad. And then he showed this like next gen version of it that looks really good, which I assume is going to come with the new headsets, but I bet that doesn't run on the current gen of headsets.
I don't want to, like, it's such an investment as is to do so little.
It's basically a console.
Yeah, it's
price of a console.
It's the price of a console, basically, just to be able to watch movies with your friends at this point.
Yeah, which I've gotten my money's worth out of. I've been happy with my investment.
I don't regret it, but I'm also not ready to go out and buy a newer version.
No, VR needs work.
Yeah,
and hopefully that dev that pieced out probably got fired actually, but he resigned. But I'm betting he got fired.
Yeah.
Hopefully that Horizon Worlds may turn into something better than a shittier version of VR chat.
Let's hope.
We watched the Schitt's Creek series finale.
Yeah. It was your first time, but I'd seen it before. What'd you think?
It was good. I liked the whole show. The finale was good. The last 2 episodes were sappy.
Yeah.
I hate sappy wedding. Well, I'm gonna spoil it because it's been out.
That's fine. Yeah.
But I hate sappy wedding shit in general. Like, and have you ever seen The Office?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
Have I ever seen The Office?
I don't know what you've seen. So you remember in The Office when they do that wedding dance where everybody dances to that Chris Brown song?
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
And this felt like a little bit along those lines of like fairy tale, not real type of thing.
Well,
otherwise, it was fine.
I personally hated very much that Patrick sang part of his vows because it was so cringe that I wanted to throw up.
Well, that's a thing you hate in general.
It is a thing I hate in general, but like that's the peak.
Yeah.
The peak of bad.
Yeah, all that stuff always makes me cringe, but
yeah.
I don't know.
But
For what it was, I think it was a good send-off for the
yeah.
show. I
Yeah, it was
really
a
thought
good
they were gonna
show.
sell the town.
I know you did. I like it when you predict something and it doesn't come true.
What's really weird is that through that show, they really make it seem like a shit podunk town at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like this town has no worth. But then somehow, as the show's progressing, it's like supporting a niche apothecary shop, and it's
Yeah.
got like people with nice houses living on farms and shit. I'm like, this town's worth something, maybe.
Yeah, it's
It,
true. They could have sold the town if they wanted to, but I feel
it
like
was
they
like
didn't by then.
it felt like a perfectly fine functioning town.
Yeah.
I think they could have sold the land easily.
Yeah, but at that point they don't want to because they
No,
love it and their son lives there.
no, it as they were world building through the series, it made the first season a little suspect because that
Hmm,
town actually had worth, I think.
probably, but I think they also did a lot to clean it up. Like they
They did.
completely overhauled that motel and then the apothecary.
That's true. Yeah, so Schitt's Creek, do recommend. I liked it.
Yeah.
That was a good show. And then we're basically like watching a series at a time. So
Hmm.
our next series that we were watching is Supernatural because Beth hasn't seen it.
Yeah. I think it started almost as a joke and then
Yeah.
we were kind of like, but what if actually?
Mostly as a joke because there's like 15 seasons of that show.
Yeah.
So that's
We'll
a
never
huge
get through it.
no,
But
I'll be surprised if we make it through 5.
yeah, personally, I've on my own time, I've never gotten to double digits in that show. I have tried many times to like start from the beginning and watch through. So I've seen the first couple seasons several times, but I don't think I've ever gotten past 8 or 9, maybe.
Yeah.
And that was like back when I was watching with my mom as it was airing.
Yeah, Miriam and
So,
I watched it as it was airing.
yeah.
I wouldn't I remember I started watching it without Miriam for the first 2 seasons because I remember I was like playing World of Warcraft. So it was like during a time when I was looking for shit to do while I was grinding.
Mhm.
And I had a second monitor, so I would watch Supernatural on the other monitor. And I binged 2 seasons. I was like, Miriam might like this. And then
Yeah.
we started watching it.
The first couple seasons are solid.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a very entertaining show. It just gets progressively more and more off the rails.
And I actually really love like Christian mythology type stuff.
Mhm.
So I think the seasons that people hate, I actually like.
Interesting.
So I really like a lot of that stuff. But
Jesse loves the Leviathan
no,
season.
that's when it goes off. It goes off the rails before then.
That's biblical.
The cult stuff, I loved all the cult stuff.
Hmm.
And the 7 seals and whatnot. But the live, yeah, you can't save that. That was bad. And like basically when Castiel starts sucking more as a character, that show falls off.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched The Equalizer this week. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think I know that
The
one.
Equalizer is it with Denzel Washington,
Oh, okay.
and it's a
Yeah.
very John Wick style of movie. I'm not actually sure which one came first, but Denzel Washington plays this guy just who's living in a small town and he's weird. You could
Okay.
definitely tell he's weird. There's something up with him. He's like a little bit aloof, like old guy energy. There is a diner that he goes to every day, and there's like this Russian prostitute that goes to the diner, and she gets beat up to the point that she gets hospitalized, which unlocks unlocks something where he turns into a super soldier, basically.
Turns into, or he like was before and this reignited something?
That one.
Okay.
Where they flip a switch. So it goes from like old man, nice guy in a diner paying for food energy to
Mhm.
like, oh, you fucked up. You hurt my friend.
Yeah, that is very John Wick.
Yeah. But I'd recommend you watch this if you like John Wick because
Yeah, I think I'd be into that.
you want to watch it with me?
Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'll watch it again. Let's do, we were talking about doing a bonus episode. Let's do
Yeah.
a bonus watch along of The Equalizer.
Cool.
Sick. All right. but it was James on Cinema, which is my Patreon director guy that I do watch-alongs with. And that
Yeah.
movie ruled. I don't think I've ever seen it before. I was really into it.
Heck
And I
yeah.
think you're going to like it.
I'm excited. I watched a couple things too. First, I finished Sandman.
Oh, hell yeah.
I really liked it. I did not watch the animated cat movie.
Okay, so that's not all animated.
I scrolled through it and everything I saw was animated.
It's not. It transitions.
Okay.
So that's not all animated. That's just the beginning part.
I just couldn't it gave me the ick.
I would
And
go back and check it out. It's because I hated that too. That's I said it to Miriam. I was like, oh no, when we were watching it, because I hate shit like that. But it was limited. That was like maybe the first fourth of it, and then it transitions
so much.
It transitions into live action.
Okay.
And it's pretty good.
And,
it's interesting.
I'll go back and watch it another time, but I finished the main episodes and I really liked it.
Yeah. Did you love the death episode?
Yeah, I did.
I think that was my favorite episode of the whole season.
I think me too. I cried a lot.
Yeah, it was sad, right?
Episode. Yeah.
It was well done.
I think that was my favorite episode, actually.
Yeah.
I liked the Hell episode.
Yep, that was my second favorite, I think.
It's like a cool take on Lucifer. And now they're all kind of blurring together. But yeah, I really liked the Death episode. I like Death as a character.
Yeah, I really loved that character too, and that one stood out for me.
Yeah. So yeah, if they come out with more seasons, I'll definitely keep going.
Oh yeah.
The other thing I watched was I started watching the Patient on Hulu.
Oh,
the Steve Carell.
Thank you for reminding me. Me and Miriam watched the first episode of that. We're going to talk about this later, this format. we have format news coming later, but this should have been
episodic.
This should have been dumped as a full season.
See, I thought it was. And then I got to the end of the third episode and I was like, wait, what? There's no more?
Yeah, we did too. We got through 2. So we watched 1 and 2 and then I was like, oh, this is it. That sucks because this is like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, the first episode is literally 19 minutes. They are not long enough to be weekly releases.
No, but the concept is fucking sick. It's good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Good.
I honestly was like, I'm going to start this. I don't know if I'm going to be into it, but we'll see. And like immediately it popped off.
Yeah, it's great. And it's cheap.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think this thing would have gotten made by anyone because like I don't want to spoil anything, but it's the cheapest thing in the world to shoot and it looks great.
Also, yeah, you're almost lucky you left off on 2 because 3 ended in such a cliffhanger that I was so pissed that there wasn't another.
I honestly might let that thing run all the way through the season and then watch it. But I'm afraid I'll forget. That's the problem with this format.
It's true. But that's it. That's all I watched.
That was great. I love the Patient. You just reminded me that episode 3 came out, but yeah, I really might wait for that to run through.
I know, it's tough.
Dude, I don't want to forget. I feel like if I do that, I'm going to forget. But
I guess also I finished the last episode of this season of What We Do in the Shadows premiered last week, I think.
I haven't been able to watch that yet.
I finished that. It's a good time.
Yeah, I saw not really spoilers, but maybe a vibe spoiler I saw that it might be a sad boy. But no spoilies.
I mean, honestly, though, looking at What We Do in the Shadows as a whole, like, sad doesn't necessarily exist.
No, not really.
Like, there can be some melancholy, but it's going to be offset with goofiness no matter what.
Yeah, you're right. It was just like a vibe spoiler, maybe a difference in the vibe in the last episode. Yeah, Miriam was busy as fuck this week, so we couldn't watch What We Did in the Shadows, and we couldn't watch Lord of the Rings, which I really want to get into. That's coming I'm going to watch that this week.
I'm still waiting on you to watch that so I can decide whether I'm going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it this week.
But our friend Rob seems to enjoy it. So
Rob likes it. Steve's high on it. Matt's high on it. Everybody I've talked to has liked it. But there's people online who don't like it.
Because people are butthurt that people of color are in the Lord of the Rings universe.
Something. Oh, I was thinking about, I'm going to spoil this. I was thinking about a new thing for the show. Have you ever heard of Jack Handy?
I don't think
So
so.
it's like SNL would do these Jack Handy bits where they would play this like Babbling Brook style music with a classical guitar, you know what I mean? Like elevator music.
Yeah.
And Jack Handy would read something ridiculous over top of it. It was really funny. So I was thinking about, I think I'm going to do this with our show. Like every week finding a really terrible review on Rotten Tomatoes and
Okay.
making the music and like reading
Oh,
it.
dude.
Reading it.
We should have done that for the Nope reviews.
The Nope reviews were bad. But the reason that that memory got sparked is because I started a spreadsheet for it based on a Lord of the Rings review that I saw. And the segment's going to be called This Week in Review. So not this week, but I think maybe next week I might add the music and like pre-record it.
Okay, I'm excited.
But I want to read this review to you from Lord of the Rings.
Please.
It's half star. It's from someone named Raed A, Raeda. It says, bad series, bad actors, seriously. They traveled forth and backwards between lands in minute. What happened after they killed the ice ghoul? Space, ? Space. How did she killed a monster that easily without effort? The whole thing, it's not make any sense. Plus, they wanted to show you the girl power and sakes of the story.
Oh, God. Is this someone who's also never seen any Lord of the Rings?
I don't know. I don't know, but that review cracked me up. The part where they wanted to show you the girl power and sakes of the story really sent me.
Girl power and people of color? What's next? Equality?
Yeah, dude. What a sad person.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever written a review on Rotten Tomatoes in the first place. I don't know who like flocks to that site to write reviews.
I don't know either.
So that's a weird thing to me. Maybe,
yeah.
I think maybe I've decided Rotten Tomatoes should not have user reviews.
Ratings are fine though, but yeah, probably not reviews.
Yeah, the reviews are stupid, and I don't know. Even the Nope ratings were bad too.
Yeah, they were.
But
I want to say generally it gives you at least an idea, but Rotten Tomatoes I don't rely on as much as IMDb, and I don't know if that's wrong or right, but I just feel like I tend to resonate more with IMDb because like generally, at least say for horror, if it has a 5 or above, I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah.
So I have like these thresholds, and I tend to know the quality of the film based on the IMDb rating.
Same.
And so I just feel like Rotten Tomatoes is a little bit more of a loose cannon sometimes.
It is. My Rotten Tomatoes counts 60% as fresh, and that's low for me. Usually, if I don't know the movie, I won't watch it if it's below like 75%. And
wow, that's a high bar.
Even then, I'm picky. I'm busy, boys. I don't have like a fuck ton of time.
It's true. I also generally just don't care about the critic ratings because I'm not a critic.
No, they almost never. They're never useful, really.
No.
They're either super high or they're super low. There doesn't really seem to be a median.
Yeah, and they're influenced by all kinds of shit that I don't care about. So
it's like a big, I don't know, after the community theater, you have like a room of people in like sweater vests with wine talking to each other. That's what the critic thing usually feels like to me. It's just people circle jerking themselves.
You know, the time for asking questions is right now.
Felicia, we have questions from the Discord.
We do.
Hell yeah.
Our first question is from Chad, who asks, what's your favorite trilogy?
Mine, this was hard.
Yeah, it was.
This was hard for me. It's very close between Back to the Future and Christopher Nolan's Batman series, the Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. It would be Batman if I didn't think that Dark Knight Rises was cheesy as fuck.
I fully anticipated you saying Back to the Future would be your number one.
Yeah.
I had to pull up a list of popular trilogies to even remember, and I was like, oh, Jesse's gonna pick Back to the Future.
Probably, but the thing is, for me in Back to the Future, I feel like I have a weird Mandela effect thing going on. because I thought Back to the Future 2 was universally like lauded. I thought people hated it. And I don't like Back to the Future 2, but I think a lot of people love that movie.
I don't know. I think for me, they all kind of blur together at a certain point.
Yeah.
I think 1 stands on its own very much, but like 2 and 3, I couldn't tell you which plot points go to which movie.
I really liked 1 and 3, and I never liked 2. But that's why it's close, because I think Batman Begins is weaker than people remember. The Dark Knight is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, and then Dark Knight Rises was weak. So that's why they were tied. Is because it's hard. That balance is hard.
It is. I think that in any trilogy, it's rare to find it not be just a downward slope from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So even if 2 out of 3 are good, I feel like that rises it above the rest.
Yeah. And Back to the Future, I really liked 1, and 3 wasn't as good as 1, but I really liked it. What was yours?
So I had a hard time because I feel like a lot of the contenders I was thinking about picking, I forgot that at like 20 years later they made a 4th movie, like Indiana Jones.
Oh, how the fuck did that might be my.
But
we forget
it's technically not a trilogy.
It is though. That's a trilogy.
I know it is.
That might be my number 1.
I also thought about Jaws.
Oh,
but it's not necessarily for overall quality. But it's 4 movies. So
I think,
but I think the Revenge came a lot later. I want to say.
I think you can count the first. I think if it's got like Police Academy's got 7 movies, I think you could count the first 3 as a trilogy.
Maybe. But I think what I landed on was the OG Jurassic Parks. Because if you don't count Jurassic World, which I don't consider them the same at all, then I go Jurassic Park. Because the first one is incredible. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I really like Lost World. Of course it's cheesy, but it's Jeff Goldblum and dinosaurs, so it's great.
Wasn't the third one like historically bad?
Yeah, the third one is not good, but I didn't find it like so offensive.
Yeah.
It's just not one that I want to rewatch.
That's fine.
So I think like 2 out of 3, that's fine with me.
You fucked up my list. Indiana Jones is my winner.
I also thought about Mummy because I love the first 2, but the third one is so wretched that I pretend it doesn't exist, and I just can't.
It's vile.
Yeah.
I should say that I think for the quality of 3 films combined, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's true.
Is the greatest.
Because, if I was more into fantasy, I think I would go with Lord of the Rings. But you're right about like overall quality consistently through all 3 films. Yeah. It is probably the best at what it does.
I don't dislike Lord of the Rings, but I was like never over the moon about that world in the first place.
Yeah.
But I like those movies. The third one just kept ending.
Yeah, the third one isn't. I don't think I've really rewatched the third one.
The thing is, the third one was dope. It was good, but
it's just a lot.
It was too long.
Yeah.
But that's me. Like, there are people that absolutely lose their shit over that trilogy.
There was one more I put on my list, and that was Rush Hour.
Oh, that's a good one. Those movies are good.
I really like them. They're very corny, but they're very fun.
That's actually, you could say the same thing about Beverly Hills Cop. That's another great set of 3 movies. This is just reminding me that there's more trilogies than I remember there being.
Yeah.
Next question is for Rob. Any movies you've disliked on first viewing but grew on you over time?
So I have this experience a lot with musicals because I end up like, take Hamilton. I wasn't a huge fan of Hamilton on first viewing, and I think it's because when I'm watching an actual stage live musical, I'm expecting more of a spectacle. And Hamilton is pretty bare bones. Like, there's not a whole lot of set. It's mostly just people in colonial costumes.
It's just that spinny floor, and that's their thing.
Right. But once I got more into the music, I started to love it. So that happens to me often. There's another musical called Into the Woods, which is
Huh.
kind of a dark fairy tale. Like it's a bunch of Grimm's fairy tales, and it has 2 acts. And the first act is like all these fairy tale characters kind of getting their wish, and then the second act just starts killing them off relentlessly, like one after the other.
Right.
And it gets so dark. And I first saw it because my aunt is a music teacher in New Jersey, and some of her students have like gone on to be in bigger productions, and she's gotten to take her classes to Broadway, so she's got a lot of musicals on tape.
Yeah.
So she showed it to me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But later they made actually like a Disney movie out of it with like Meryl Streep and Johnny Depp and Emily Blunt. And it's a really good interpretation of it, and it pretty much sticks to it. But again, like once I started to watch that and listen to the music, I started to really like it and appreciate it. So also Phantom, just Phantom of the Opera, but that was more because it was super super popular when I was like trying to be an edgy teen.
Yeah.
And all the girls wanted to watch it at their slumber parties, and I was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, I understand that one.
So yeah, I just tried to rebel against it, and turns out I can't.
I'm sure some of those will make the hate watch parade.
Oh yeah.
Uh
You love Hamilton.
Oh, I fucking love Hamilton. I don't think there's a soundtrack I've listened to more.
Yeah, and we also have already watched Phantom, so I'm not going to make you watch that.
Yeah. Phantom's not my favorite. Like traditional musicals,
It's not.
I have trouble with.
Yeah.
Mine was so my memory's bad. If I'm watching something and I'm expecting something completely different than what the movie is, sometimes I'll revisit it later and it'll be better. But my memory's really bad about this, and I couldn't think of one. But I think this happened recently. I think there was something we watched where I was expecting something and it was completely different. I know it happened, and I know it was on this show. I can't think of what it was.
Interesting. Yeah, I certainly have had it happen with just regular movies too. I just couldn't think of any good examples.
Yeah.
You asked a question and it didn't make it on the list, probably because I chastised you for it.
No, I was just keeping those in the channel, like in case nobody asked questions.
Okay, but
this week.
I wrote an answer for it.
Okay, hold on, let me find it.
It's not the hypothetical. You asked about, is there a show that you love that you know other people would love, but it failed because no one watched it?
It's what's your favorite under the radar TV show that you love and you know other people would love, but it failed because it never got the runway it needed? And I have an answer for this too, if you just want to do it.
Yeah, so I wrote The Terror.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking, because the first season is unequivocally the best, and I love it, and it's my favorite show in the world. I don't think it's super, super accessible for wide audiences, but I think the format failed it, because what they turned it into is an anthology horror series, almost like an American Horror Story, but certainly not at all.
Yeah.
But the first season is the story of the Lost Franklin expedition and the 2 ships that sank and what happened to the survivors. But then the second season is like this, I want to say it's Japanese horror, and it's like way scarier, but I think it's also really lore based. So if you're not super familiar with like Japanese lore, I think a lot of it is lost on people.
Yeah.
I ended up not even finishing that season. And I think one of the problems is they titled the show The Terror, which only works for the first season. So I think that if they had presented it as what it is, an anthology horror series, and every season would be something different, I think it would have had a lot more success. But I think it flies under the radar because when you hear The Terror, you only think of the first season, and not everyone wants to watch that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think the format and the marketing failed it.
And we watched that show. I liked it. It drags a little at the beginning.
It does. It's a slow start.
And I think that might lose some people when they're watching it. But that and the CG's bad, but that doesn't even really matter.
It's true.
The show's good. That first season was great. I haven't watched the other ones yet, but the first season was very good.
Yeah, there's only one other season. It's a completely different story, completely different actors. And I would be very surprised if it gets another season.
I always love it when creators can create, so I hope it does.
Yeah, me too.
My answer for that was going to be Sports Night, which is
And
you laugh immediately, which
yeah.
is probably why it failed. It's one of those things where it's not really about the sports. So
Okay.
Aaron Sorkin at the time was making a smash hit called The West Wing.
Mhm.
NBC gave him another show, which is called Sports Night, and it's about a late night sports show that like competes with like Sports Center on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
But they're not even like the second place in the competition. They're like the third place. So it's about a couple of sports anchors and the office life. Really, it's about the characters in the show more than it's about sports, and it's about how the
Right.
characters interact. All of the characters are great. The show only has 2 seasons, I think. But it's a really, really great show. And I think people would just scoff at the Sports Night. And even at the time, I think that's
Yeah.
why they weren't giving it any love. And plus, NBC was doing their meddling shit with their time slots and stuff and giving like terrible notes. So like the first season of Sports Night, for some amount of episodes, has a laugh track,
Okay.
which is dumb for the show.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense for the show or its vibe. And if you watch it, and I really recommend you watch it, like even you, it says Sports Night, not really about sports. The characters are really great, and it's got really good stories that it tells week to week. And you'll fall in love with these characters, I guarantee it. But yeah, Sports Night was mine. That's like
Yeah, I
gold.
never even heard of it, so that tells you the marketing wasn't great.
Many people have not heard about it. It's in the same era as Freaks and Geeks and Firefly. It's like that same late 90s. Really just television was fucking up really great shows for no reason. And Sports Night like fell under that cover. It's like some of Aaron Sorkin's greatest work, in my opinion.
Interesting.
I've been playing out a lot of hypotheticals in my mind.
Hey, me too.
Wow.
We got one from the Discord from our friend Tatiana. Berserker Tati.
We did.
Etsy.com/magiclessmage if you're freaky.
Wow, wow, wow.
She likes stickers. I can't remember if that's the one that's magicless.mage or just magiclessmage. I think it's just magic.
Oh god. I don't know, but I'm sure if you go to Etsy and search Magicless Maze, you will find it.
Yeah, except search mage, not maze.
I said mage.
No, I have the recording.
Fuck you.
You for sure said maze.
I absolutely did not.
All right. See you next week
Okay.
with the maze.
She asks, M. Night Shyamalan is making a movie about the pandemic. What's the weird twist?
The virus is freeze tag. If you get it, you die unless someone smacks you across the face.
Interesting.
So I think that would be fun if the virus had some wacky weakness where like if you move, it kills you. But someone has to maybe someone has to take it from you.
Right. Like if they smack you, does the person who smacks you get the virus?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be hard to convince someone to smack you then.
Yeah, but you could play with that. I think I could write.
You'd have to just spew some horrible shit.
I could make this. You really have to piss someone off to the point that they punch.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of fun. I bet I could write that story.
I mean, it's not dissimilar to that movie. Fuck me.
I've seen that movie on Cinemax.
It Follows.
It Follows.
Yeah, it's the sexually transmitted monster movie where if you have sex with someone, you pass it on to the next person.
I've never seen that movie.
And then
I've heard of it.
I don't like it, and it's so beloved, and I don't know why. So yeah. I didn't really write down an answer for this because anytime I tried to think about it, I just was like, it would just be political. It'd be like Donald Trump originated the virus.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then just to like badmouth China.
That's fair. I think you can go that route, and that's perfectly fine.
I mean, I think that's the route it would inevitably go. Anytime there's a pandemic movie, that's essentially what the twist is that like we manufactured it somehow on purpose.
I really have to choke down my political views. There's a part of me that wants to do a political podcast, but that's just like, and with my specific disability, that's inviting a nightmare.
Yes, it is. Also, I don't know how many listeners you would have. You would only have hate listeners.
Probably. I think that's what they thrive on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got good taste. I can have good political taste. You don't know. Any television or movie news this week? I feel like there's some.
Yeah, a lot of shit happened. The D3 Expo happened, so there were a lot of Disney and like Marvel announcements. We're not gonna go through them all. There's too much, and there's too much that we don't give a shit
Please,
about.
no, and I'm already fatigued on most of these properties anyway.
Yeah. So I just wrote a short list of things that appealed to me from this kind of announcement block.
Okay.
So first, we got a first look at the live action Little Mermaid.
I watched this trailer.
Yes. Little Mermaid is not one of my favorite Disney movies. It's very much like for the younger generation.
Yeah.
But it's the music from it is still very nostalgic. And so like I also like anything to do with the sea. So looking at it, it does look very cool. I really wanted to see what they did with Ursula and also King Triton.
Yeah.
They're gonna make him a daddy.
You know what? I watched that trailer and I didn't think about the other characters. Yeah, I wonder what they did.
That's who I wanted
Ursula.
to see. Yeah. So I'm just curious. I really don't like live action Disney movies.
Me neither.
I think it's super unnecessary.
Me too.
And just like an invitation for a lot of bad CG.
That said, it looked practical.
It looked good.
It looked like practical. It looked pretty. But it
also didn't show too much yet.
What are your thoughts on Ariel not being a redhead?
She was.
Was she?
Like she definitely had red hair. People are saying it wasn't red enough, but I'm like, it's fine.
Wait, was it really?
I think the problem, it was like very subtle. It was like more of a burgundy,
like an auburn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think part of my problem in general with The Little Mermaid is that it's like it's only a relatable protagonist if you're also a 16-year-old girl. Otherwise, you're gonna relate a whole lot more to like Ursula. Because, it's the whole like, but daddy, I love him. I'm an adult. I'm not a kid anymore.
Right.
And it's like, girl, you're literally 16. So that's why I'm not thrilled.
I watched that trailer on my janky ass TV. And then I didn't pick up any red at all. So I retract if it's auburn, then.
No, that's a legit criticism people are giving. It's like, why isn't her hair fire engine red like Ariel's? And
yeah,
like,
well, that's the first thing.
Dude.
The first thing I thought about was like the reviews of this are gonna tank it.
Oh yeah, I mean, people are already super pissed that Ariel's not white,
which is stupid.
So like, people are not gonna like this movie regardless.
That's really stupid. But
yes, it is.
For me, the redhead thing stuck out because my wife is a redhead, and that character is like, what do you call it? Like a bastion of redheads. It's like, I don't know. It's like a redhead idol character.
Right. And it could just be that like I think she was also in pretty low light in that trailer.
Yeah.
So
and my TV blows. I picked up on none of the red, and it's probably because of my TV. But
so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I may or may not end up watching it. Probably not.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I don't even like the cartoon.
So they did an Indiana Jones 5 panel.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a trailer out. I think they only showed a first look to people who were present. I want to not be into this, but it has Mads Mikkelsen and Phoebe Waller-Bridge from Fleabag, who plays Fleabag.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, dude, I love that.
Crystal Skull was
bad.
Maybe before the 5th one comes out, we should do a watch along of Crystal Skull just because it would be fun. It would be fun to destroy it like Van Helsing, probably. If it, sorry, I just want to do a little shot at Felicia there.
I think more like Phantom of the Open.
How dare you? That was a delight.
No, it wasn't. So I'll watch it. It's probably not going to be good, but it seems to have some fun casting.
Yeah.
But then that said, over at the Loki panel, I'm going to butcher this name and I'm so sorry. Ke Huy Quan,
hmm
who plays Waymond on Everything Everywhere All at Once and is in Indiana Jones as a child.
Yeah. Short
He
round.
is going to be he's going to be in Loki season 2, and I guess he showed up on stage and said, "I'm confused, this isn't the Indiana Jones panel."
Dude, that's fucking awesome. I like that guy's career
Yeah.
resurgence. He's really charming.
Yes, he is. And there's a picture going around of him and Harrison Ford, and it's very wholesome.
I saw that. When I first saw that, I was like, oh shit, is he gonna be in Indy 5? But I think it was just a reunion because he
Yeah.
was there for Loki.
Yeah. And the last bit of Disney news that I wrote down is that Bucky Barnes is confirmed to have long hair in Captain America New World Order.
Right. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, your wet man's coming back.
Oh, baby.
I really hope they ditch the hokey bullshit that they've been doing with every single Marvel movie since it.
What do you mean specifically?
Dude, the tone that these movies have had. So you have like Captain America Civil War, which is top 3 for me in the MCU.
Oh, same. I love it.
It might be like top 2. But Civil War and Winter Soldier, they're both very serious.
Yeah.
But that tone of seriousness has deteriorated into like hokey comic-y jokes, and I hate it.
I totally know what you mean, but I don't think that's true for the Captain America franchise. Did you see the Falcon and Winter Soldier show?
Yeah, I watched the show. It wasn't hokey.
It's not the same tone.
I'm just hoping they keep that up and don't
Me
don't
too.
devolve.
I don't think it'll be quite as dark because they're not fighting Nazis anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just think
maybe neo-Nazis, who knows?
The tone of Civil War was perfect to me. I hope they keep that tone.
I love Civil War, and not just to look at Bucky, but mostly to look at Bucky.
Yeah.
I wrote down a couple of other news in general that's not just D3. Less than 2 weeks to the Ghost Files premiere. Ghost Files is the current Watcher brand of BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Right.
So less than 2 weeks till the premiere. I'm very, very excited.
Sick.
Then something that I'm not excited about at all is that Netflix is going to do a live action Assassin's Creed because Resident Evil worked out so well.
I have that on my list here. I as a little
Yes.
bullet point, I said I hate this a whole lot.
Yeah, me too. So the thing is, it could go either way, right? Because Netflix adapted The Witcher, and it's great. But I also never played the Witcher games, so I don't really have any attachment to that.
It's decently accurate. The Witcher's good.
Okay. Yeah. So, maybe it could be, but
I've just got this.
The movie bombed.
I just got this fresh taste of Resident Evil in my mouth.
Yeah, me too. And so
bad.
they're systematically doing this to all of my favorite game franchises.
Yeah.
They've got BioShock in the works, and now they're coming for Assassin's Creed.
They could easily fuck BioShock up.
Oh yeah.
Real easy.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed is almost bolder because there already has been a movie that fucked it up.
Yeah.
And which I didn't even watch, but everything that I saw about it was just highly questionable, the choices they made. So I don't know. Maybe if they decide to do Ezio's whole storyline, that's 3 games, they can run with that. I don't know. Maybe.
They should go back and look at the Prince of Persia movie.
Yeah.
And steal that. Steal that aesthetic and how they shot their action.
It's such a simple premise. The thing you need to make it work is a good character.
Yeah.
A good protagonist that you really bond with immediately.
I'm just cringing at the fan service. There's gonna be I'm already cringing. Someone's gonna skydive into a hay bale.
So speaking, they gotta. But speaking of Assassin's Creed, so Ubisoft just did their kind of version of D3 too.
Yeah.
where they announced the new lineup for the Assassin's Creed upcoming projects. They announced the new game is going to be Assassin's Creed Mirage, which kind of looks banging, but also the protagonist of that game is an antagonist in the last game, and it's going
Oh.
to be focusing on his early life.
Oh, it's
And,
like
like,
an
his-
anti-hero thing.
I guess I really don't know because he was not likable whatsoever
Huh.
in the last game. So I don't think people are psyched about that. But the reason I bring that up is because I think Assassin's Creed and their fan base already has a relatively toxic relationship.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel very let down by the recent iterations in the Assassin's Creed franchise because they're kind of getting further and further away from the original game, where it's just like, hey, you're in this ancient order of assassins, you kill people because you're an assassin, go for it.
Yeah.
But they've like lately just been huge open world RPGs where you're not even really an assassin, you just kill people. Like the last one was a Vikings game, which was super fun,
Oh.
but didn't feel at all like an Assassin's Creed game.
I forgot about that one completely. I thought the last one was like that Egyptian one.
No, that was that was 3 games
Jesus.
ago
All
now.
right. Well,
Um,
I don't
but
keep
yeah,
up
like
with that
the
franchise.
last 3 games have been enormous maps. Like it's impossible to complete them.
Yeah.
And
Not a
also,
big fan of that.
yeah, they're not. It's not the same vibe. They're still fun games. I like this franchise, so I'm gonna like everything no matter what.
Right.
Like I can find the good in all the games. They're just fun. But people are such purists when it comes to Assassin's Creed that they just want to go back to the first 2 games and the way it was. So it seems like Mirage is going to be a big return to basics. And people seem to be happy about that, but people are very mistrusting of Ubisoft right now. So the fact that Netflix is now going to adapt that into a live action series when they don't even have the fans' trust in the games anymore
Yeah.
is kind of bonkers.
I'm not real excited about it.
I'm not either.
Can we
I'll probably hate watch it like I did Resident Evil.
I'm not even sure I'll hate watch any of it.
We'll see.
Can we go back to D3 for 1 second?
Yeah.
Did you see the Werewolf by Night trailer?
I didn't. I saw the title, but I don't know what it is.
Werewolf by Night is a Marvel comic. It's where Moon Knight made his first appearance, I think.
Oh,
So they shot it like a grindhouse horror,
interesting.
and it's got a very like Universal Monsters aesthetic to it. But it's digital. You could tell it's like recolorized digitally to black
Oh.
and white. But it pops. It looks great. But I have a little bit of worry about Marvel trying horror because I don't think they'll go
Yeah.
hard enough.
And because Doctor Strange went so well.
Yeah. I really think it gave me like a WandaVision type of vibe the first 2 episodes, which were kind of dope. But I think if Marvel tries horror, they're not going to go hard enough, and they're going to come out with something that is like maybe wacky, and I don't want it. But
Yeah.
I would say check out that trailer and see what you think.
Okay.
Werewolf by Night. I think it might be Marvel's first like foray into horror.
I think it felt like they wanted this to be because DC recently did, oh my god, I want to say Creature from the Black Lagoon, but that's not what it is. Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing, yeah.
Yeah, DC had the Swamp Thing show that did end up getting canceled, but my friend Alex really liked it and thought it was like a genuinely good adaptation of comics, but also like a really good foray into horror.
Uh-huh.
And DC's always been a lot darker than Marvel.
Correct, yeah.
But I feel like this felt like a almost a grab at that because they're like, well, DC can do everything, and so far we're mostly doing goofy shit. So we gotta kind of branch out.
Yeah. But even with this trailer, it's still got this like sheen of we're not really taking this seriously.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to
Doesn't bode super
No,
well.
I don't know what to think of, but I think they're gonna not go hard enough on the horror, and they're gonna end up with something just hokey and kind of shitty. But I
Yeah.
hope it's good.
We'll see.
Netflix announced that they're ditching the binge format and moving to weekly releases, which I don't hate, but it's because I'm old and I don't have a lot of time. I like the weekly releases.
I think that shouldn't be a a blanket application. I think that should be with longer shows, like hour-plus long episodes. Like,
Yeah.
say, when The Witcher comes back, they can do a weekly release. But I think for stuff that's, like, 30 minutes or less, that's so much less rewarding.
Yeah, you're right about that. That said,
Yeah, I don't like it.
the thing is, I think they're moving to weekly releases so that they can add advertisements.
Oh,
That would
God.
be my that's my fear. I know they're looking to do that anyway, but I think this is the first step towards that. And I'll just turn on a fucking ad blocker, so I don't really care. But yeah, I don't. The binge format, as I'm getting older and more busy, is not for me anymore. Because I feel like it kills the discussion of the show week to week, which is what I really enjoy, that week to week discussion with friends
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
true.
And when I have to binge something, I feel like I don't have the time to do that shit. Like me and Miriam, when we binge something, it's rare. We have to set aside time and like schedule shit just to binge. Like Stranger Things is something that I would schedule for.
See, I think that it would work for something like Stranger Things, and you're right. I think that's an experience I haven't really had since Game of Thrones was airing,
Yeah.
is like being super excited to talk about the latest episode with people.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, for like big releases that everyone is anticipating, I think that's fine. I don't blame them for doing that. But I think there's so much that is like, especially because Netflix keeps putting out these brand new series that only have one season
Right.
for probably a couple years before we know if it's going to get renewed or not.
Yeah.
So putting out something like that week by week, one episode a week, just seems kind of pointless because it's not really building anticipation when we don't know what we're getting.
That's true. That's fair.
So I don't know. I just feel like they need to tailor it to what's being released and not just make it across the board.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they will do that, but I have a feeling this is for the ads, and they're just going to release
You're probably
everything week
right.
to week.
Yeah.
Just because it brings you back to see more ads.
Hate it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the ads, but yeah, I think I do like the week to week stuff. The only other thing that I had here was that it's the 30th anniversary of Sneakers, and I love that movie. And I just want to remind people, go watch Sneakers. What a
Wow.
great quintessential hacker movie.
Wow.
It might be the best hacker movie of all time.
Wow.
Why don't you go check out Sneakers? I made you watch Sneakers. You remember?
I think you did, but I don't fully remember the
That
plot.
makes me sad. It's this hacker in college who fucks with the government, gets caught. He and his friend get caught. Friend goes to jail. He doesn't. He changes his identity.
Yes. Okay. Yes,
And then
I do remember
cut to
this.
20 years later, he's running this security firm that like
Yeah.
sneaks into banks and stuff to try to hack them.
Yes, I remember.
And they're not super successful. They're successful with the hacks, but the banks aren't paying them that much because this is like mid 90s where hacking was still like niche and the internet wasn't huge. There wasn't like because now the Sneakers wouldn't hold up right now with that storyline, with they're not doing well because security researchers now get fucking paid. But yeah, check out Sneakers anyway. It holds up as a movie. It's a great movie. It's a nice little.
We got a Robert Redford.
We got a Robert Redford. We got a Sidney Poitier. We got a Dan Aykroyd. We got a River Phoenix and what might be one of his last roles, maybe his last role.
Yeah.
And River Phoenix is the shit in there. There is a lady whose name I can't remember who's in a lot of shit, who's very good. That's just a great time. So check out Sneakers. Wow.
We come together on a huge silver screen because we need that, all of us. That indescribable feeling we get feels good in a place like this.
Why is she getting louder?
What do you mean?
I swear she was getting louder.
Was she getting louder? I
It
wasn't like doing it.
Felt like Nicole Kidman was suddenly all around.
Oh no. Maybe it was a spell that she was casting on you.
Could be.
Felicia.
Yes.
Hey, what's coming out in theaters this week?
Okay, apparently we got 4 whole movies coming.
Oh,
to
hell
theaters.
yeah. On September 16th.
Yeah. First one is called The Woman King. I think there's a name for that. It's an action
It's
drama
called The Woman.
history.
That's the name. It's The Woman King.
A historical epic inspired by the true events that happened in the kingdom of Dahomey, one of the most
That
powerful
can't.
states of.
Okay.
No, it can't be. I know, but I don't know how to say
That
it.
can't be how you say that
Dahomey?
because this is.
Dahomey? Look it up. One of the most powerful states of Africa in the 18th and 19th centuries.
Dude, is it Dahomey? I'm having a very racist moment right now because that's really funny.
That didn't cross my mind.
That's
I
really-
just am bad at
Well,
pronouncing things.
It wouldn't have crossed. You've never heard of this.
No.
I've heard of it. Our friend Lexi told me about it, and I watched the trailer, and it looks fucking sick. But I didn't. I just copy and pasted this description. The Kingdom of Dahomey, it says, and that can't be right.
Maybe it's Dahomey. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel very racist right now because that's fucking funny.
You can read cast. I don't really care.
You don't care. You don't care about. All right. I implore you to watch the trailer.
Okay.
It's sick. It's very cool. It's like a superhero movie, but based on a true story.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I think I tapped out immediately because I saw written by Maria Bello and I don't like her.
Why not?
Just because of stuff she's been in. Like, I really didn't like her in Secret Window. I really didn't like her in Lights Out.
Oh.
Like,
well.
I don't like her in things.
Well, I don't know. The trailer looks good. It is starring Hero Fens Tiffin, who is Tom Riddle from Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. He was in something called After, which was well received, apparently. And that looks like a Gen Z romance to me. Viola Davis, who was in a whole bunch of great shit. And then Lashana Lynch, who was Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But
yeah, in that scene.
Yeah.
Where it's like alternate universe versions of them.
And played Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel, which I have not seen Captain Marvel. That was at the beginning of my falling out with Marvel.
Yeah. Anything else to say about that before we move
Trailer
on?
looks sick. I don't know if the movie's good or not. But trailer looks sick, so I don't know. Look up the trailer, see if you like it, and then go see it.
Heck yeah. The next one is called See How They Run. In the West End of 1950s London, plans for a movie version of a smash hit play come to an abrupt halt after a pivotal member of the crew is murdered.
Watch the trailer for this. It's a very bright and stylized noir whodunit with a subdued Clue vibe, is what I wrote for my notes.
That could be fun.
Yeah, I think you might like this one.
I feel like, 1950s London. If it's really done as a period piece, it could be real fun. A comedy mystery. I like that.
It's a period piece. It's incredibly British in its production. It's very tongue-in-cheeky. It's like, it looks like it's funny, and the style, it's really stylized. It looks pretty. It's like bright noir. I don't know how else to say it, but yeah.
It's bright.
Yeah,
dark.
it's like it's like noir costumes, but everything is bright.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, check that out. If you like whodunits and stuff like that, I think you'll probably like See How They Run.
Nice. The only person I recognize in the cast is Sam Rockwell.
Same. Although David, I'm gonna fuck it up. David Oyelowo from Interstellar, I liked him in that because I like everybody in.
I can't picture who.
I think he was the black hole scientist.
Okay, that doesn't ring a bell.
Next, you don't recognize Adrian Brody? He's in there.
Oh yeah, I do. I don't. Is that how you spell Adrian?
I copied it from IMDb.
Huh. Okay, I didn't recognize the spelling of the name, but yes, I know.
The piano
He's
and
great too.
recently Blonde, which Blonde got like a 14-minute ovation at whatever film fest, Telluride maybe. Looking forward to Blonde. All right, next.
Next, Moonage Daydream, a music documentary. So
and I want to point out limited release. So check your local listings to make sure this is in a theater before you just go show up.
Moonage Daydream illuminates the life and genius of David Bowie, one of the most prolific and influential artists of our time. The motion picture reveals the celebrated icon through his own voice and features 48 musical tracks mixed from their original stems.
My trailer
That's
note says
cool.
this looks fucking awesome.
If this was like about anyone else, I don't know that I'd be interested, but I think David Bowie deserves to have something like
Absolutely.
this right now.
And it looks fucking awesome. I just want to reiterate. If this is in a theater near you, go see it, because the use of color in this thing is nuts. It looks really
Heck yeah. Do you want to hear my impression of not it's my impression of Jermaine Clement doing an impression of David Bowie.
sure, it can't be anything but good.
And it's from an episode of Flight of the Conchords where Brett keeps having dreams about David Bowie.
Yeah.
But it's Jermaine as David Bowie.
All right.
Okay. I'm David Bowie.
Yeah, pretty good.
Thank you so much.
I watched that as they aired, and I haven't seen it since. I really need to rewatch that series because that shit was funny.
Yeah, it's great.
But I don't remember if you're accurate or not. But
I'm
given our
David
history, there's no
Bowie.
way you're accurate.
It's me. I'm David Bowie.
It can't sound accurate.
The next movie on our list.
Hold on. I wanted to say that was written and directed by Brett Morgan, who did Cobain, Montage of Heck, and that's an absolute banger. So go see this fucking David Bowie documentary. It's called
Fuck yeah, do it.
It's called Moonage
David
Daydream. I don't know why
Bowie.
Bowie's not in the name. It's probably gonna hurt its box office, but Moonage
Yeah.
Daydream. Yeah, starring David Bowie,
Whoa.
OG gender bender.
Next one. Confess Fletch, a comedy crime. Limited release. After becoming the prime suspect in multiple murders, Fletch strives to prove his innocence while simultaneously searching for his fiance's stolen art collection.
I don't suppose you've ever seen Fletch.
No.
Fletch is an 80s Chevy Chase vehicle cult classic where he plays kind of a dickish detective. And
well, it is Chevy Chase.
my trailer notes are that I'm very concerned that this is a limited release with the cult classic IP and a star of John Hamm's caliber as the lead. Suggests the studio is burying it. Not a particularly good look for a reboot. I'm very worried about this one.
Interesting.
I don't think it's good. I would be willing to bet money it's not.
Probably not.
But it does star John Hamm and Marcia Gay Harden.
John Hamm, who always looks like he's pooping a little bit.
Which we discovered, and now I can't unsee it thanks to you. I can never watch Mad
You're
Men again
welcome.
because all I will see is a man pooping.
He always just, it's not even just that he's pooping. It just looks like he just had the realization that if he doesn't find a bathroom right now, he's going to shit his
Yes.
pants.
And if you look at his face and anything is in, that's all you can see. And Felicia ruined that man for me
You're welcome.
forever, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow. What's new on, that was it for theaters. What's new on streaming?
There's a correction from you here that you announced Pinocchio a little bit early.
It's out
but
now.
it is now available.
That's
Yes.
out now on Disney Plus, but maybe the shit version, not the Guillermo del Toro version, which comes out in October.
Yeah, I have seen some like scalding reviews of Pinocchio.
I don't doubt it. I'm certain that Disney did this to take the wind out of Guillermo del Toro's sails and like scare people off.
Yeah, it really seems like it. I wonder if they already had it in production, but then heard Guillermo del Toro was doing a version, so they rushed it and put out whatever they had.
Man, I really
could see
doubt
that
it.
happening.
I did. After we talked about this last week, I did find out that Pinocchio is newly in the public domain.
Ah, that explains it.
And I think this is Disney releasing this as a fuck you, like to anyone who tries
like
to use their IP. They're torpedoing it, would be my guess.
Well, I only support Guillermo.
Yep,
So.
I'm sure that Guillermo one's going to be sick, and I don't even care about this one. But if you like Pinocchio, maybe check it out. Who knows?
So the first one we have here is called Wedding Season. It's an action-adventure comedy series on Hulu. We meet Katie on her wedding day, surrounded by dead bodies of her new husband and every member of his family. That took a turn. The police think Katie's lover, Stefan, did it. Stefan thinks Katie did it. Katie thinks her ex-husband did it. No one knows what the truth is.
Yep, I watched the trailer for this one. Upbeat. Trailer doesn't do much for it. And then if you're into couples running from the law, this might be for you, but it's not for me.
Yeah. Nah, I don't care.
Yeah, it's just like a couple adventure.
I also don't know any of the
Maybe
people
a
starring
mystery
in
thing.
it.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't recognize anyone. But I think it's
Next.
IMDb fucking up because the second guy, Bill, doesn't have a headshot on IMDb, which I love.
What the fuck?
But
yeah, so mysterious.
I think that's just I always look people up when they don't have a headshot, and I couldn't find shit
Mhm.
on this guy. I think he's just a BBC actor.
Next. Last Light. It's a thriller on Peacock. It's a mini series. Your family, your world. What if it all disappeared tomorrow? If society were collapsing, how far would you go to save the ones you love?
Wah, wah.
Wah,
Watch
wah.
the trailer. Run-of-the-mill disaster porn. Dad has to save the world. Kid doesn't want him to leave. And it's starring Jack
Yep.
from Lost, Matthew Fox.
Ugh.
And some
Gross.
lady from Downton Abbey, Joanne Frogert.
She was good in Downton Abbey,
Well, that's
but
good.
I don't
This
care.
this mini series isn't gonna be. I don't know why you would ever make a disaster. Well, unless it's something like The Walking Dead. But in my opinion, disaster shit is like a feature film. Give me 90 minutes and then let me the fuck out of it.
Yeah. I mean, we all know, like, there's only so many directions it can go. I don't know. Next.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
favorite,
boy.
Gutsy, a documentary on AppleTV Plus. It's a series documentary, I guess. A diverse cast of trailblazing women set out to answer the question, what exactly does it take to be a gutsy woman?
Yes. And this is where Miriam has accused me of being sexist before, which is fine because I feel like that's probably accurate. I think that everybody drifts into lanes that they shouldn't as a human being sometimes. And this is like one of mine. And I don't think I'm being sexist here. Miriam would probably say I'm being sexist, but I don't think I am. But my trailer note is, let's hang out and have brunches and dinners with a bunch of our super rich and famous friends and then circle jerk each other about working class women being amazing, none of whom were invited.
Jesse asked me before this if he could say that
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be offensive, and I said it's not offensive because it's true.
Yes.
The starring members of this cast include Hillary Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, Megan Thee Stallion, Goldie Hawn, Wanda Sykes, Kate Hudson, Amy Schumer, Kim Kardashian, and Jane Goodall.
Yes.
This is such a mixed bag, but I don't want to watch any kind of feminist nonsense starring Amy Schumer. Thank you.
Okay, that's my main point.
Yeah. If you took just Goldie Hawn, Jane Goodall, and maybe Kate Hudson and made this show, I'd be more inclined to watch it. But everyone else is such a wild card.
I was so worried about being being unknowingly sexist that I watched 2 episodes of this thing because I didn't want to just say that and then be wrong. It's basically
No, dude.
it's basically what I thought it was. It does have some okay, so the first episode's wacky, and they start off with like stand-up comedians and a clown school, and the female stand-ups are from Caroline's in New York City, and they're just like working comics. There's Zarna Garg, Yamanika Saunders, Maysoon Zaid, Melissa Rich, and Laurie Kilmartin. And of those, Laurie Kilmartin's the only name that I recognize. And she's a good comic. But I don't know if this feels very disingenuous.
It feels gross. I don't need Kim Kardashian, Amy Schumer, and Megan Thee Stallion telling me what it means to be a woman.
And that's the thing that I wanted to say is that like Chelsea Clinton and Hillary Clinton are very front and center in the first episode of this, where it's clear that they're just trying to humanize these two people. And I think Chelsea Clinton's human enough. Like she's actually she seems like a decent person.
This does seem like a weird PR
Yeah,
thing.
it's weird. And my thing is Hillary Clinton's a political robot, and like I don't hate it or her. Like we actually need political robots. And as I'm a lifelong Democrat, and this has always fucking annoyed me about Democrats, is they try to take politicians and then like humanize them when that's not what we need. Like, that's not what a politician is. Like, I want a political robot that's like smart as fuck and calculating and underhanded, because that's what we need to get the shit that we need. I don't know why. And they've always done this with Hillary Clinton, and I hate it. Like, I care about her politics. Like, I don't care if she wears shoulder pads or whatever. They're just trying to make her like more masculine, but more grandmothery at the same time. And it's so fucking weird. And in this show, they literally put Hillary and Chelsea Clinton in clown noses at a clown school. They have
No, I don't need this.
They have
Nobody
a dinner
needs
with
this.
Amy Schumer. So first,
Gross.
Hillary Clinton and Chelsea Clinton go to talk to these 5 comedians at Caroline's. Guess who's not there? Amy Schumer is sure as fuck not there. Because Amy Schumer is a joke thief.
Yeah,
Her
she's not.
career got
Nobody
no,
likes
and
her.
comedians definitely don't. Her career got fucking
No.
torpedoed. She's a joke thief. And I remember knowing she was a joke thief before this like 26-minute long YouTube video came out showing you step by step how many jokes she's stolen.
She's a joke thief. She's also not funny. And then when she's not funny, she accuses you of being against her because of
Correct.
PC culture. Like, that's
She
who
like
she is.
100% stole a joke nearly verbatim from John Mulaney. And I remember I saw it. Like, I was watching her steal that joke in real time because I love John Mulaney. And it's from it's like from one of his earlier albums, like 2008 or something. But I remember the joke as she was stealing it. And I was like, wow, she just fucking lifted that for one of my favorite comedians.
So blatant. And like a really popular
Really
comedian,
popular,
so it's
like,
not it's not going to be
revered,
noticed.
popular, like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, it's Hillary Clinton with too much lettuce in her mouth, which was funny. Amy Schumer at a dinner talking about her like endometriosis and how some stand-up comedians are using comedy to shine a light on taboo topics like normal operation of women's bodies and stuff. And I was like, why is Tig Notaro not here, who beat breast cancer? Or like Maria
Yeah,
Bamford,
for
who's
real.
like struggles hard with like mental health. Like, why aren't actual really good working comedians there? And why didn't they go to Caroline's?
Also, yeah, fucking Amy Schumer is not who I want to represent me on stage. I don't need someone who's
No.
just going to be like, so vaginas, am I
No,
right?
she's there because she's rich and famous. And
Yeah.
I still watched the second episode of this, even though that validated my opinion, I thought, in the first episode.
How much lettuce was in
Dude,
Hillary Clinton's mouth? In
I
the
meant to
second
clip it. It's an absolute mouthful of lettuce. And she's talking. It's like grandma shit, man.
Ew.
And she's talking through it. And I was like, God damn, there's so much lettuce and you're like a rabbit. Oh, and another thing from episode 1 is this clown lady they were talking to full on just gropes Chelsea Clinton's tits.
What the
And Chelsea
fuck?
Clinton's like, yeah, grab on. Because it's part of her act. It's part of her act as a clown. And they have these clowning teachers that are like straight up wet benches if you don't make them laugh. They're like fucking brutal. So, but
Jesus.
as part of that, the lady, grabbed Chelsea Clinton's tits full on. It was real weird. But she was funny
Yeah.
though. At least that was funny. But yeah, this is what I thought it was. It's like, I don't know why Hillary Clinton just didn't executive produce this. I don't know why they needed all these celebrity names. Why don't they just drop this? And if they were going to make this show, I really wish it was like, show me like female politicians rising up in the system, because
Keep Jane Goodall, because she's
yeah,
I don't know what the correct term for Jane Goodall is. I wanted to say naturist, but I don't think that's correct. That seems like a nudist.
I mean, you could keep her. I just don't know what this is for. I don't know what the show's for, and I don't know who it's for.
No, I don't either.
Because
not
they
me.
just like, they're like, here's a female firefighter, and now we're gonna go have brunch about it. And who's that for?
This is like the antithesis of feminism.
That's what I'm saying. It's real wacky and weird. I don't know.
yeah.
The second
no,
one at
I
least
don't
had
want it.
some shit about the Charlottesville stuff that was happening either post-Trump or right before Trump's first election. that stuff hit. They were talking to the mothers of people who were killed during that, and that was good. I just don't know why stuff like that wasn't the whole show, but it's really just rich people hanging out with each other, and then here's some other women, but the other
Yeah.
women never meet
No
the rich
thanks.
people. All right, yeah, moving on.
Wonder why. So the last movie on our list here is American Gigolo, which I saw just like I didn't even see the trailer. I just saw the banner for, and I was like, what the fuck? It's a crime drama mystery on Showtime. It's a series. Follows Julian Kay after his wrongful conviction, release following 15 years in prison as he struggles to find his footing in the modern day Los Angeles sex industry and navigates his complicated relationships.
Yeah,
Is this a remake of something?
it
Because
is.
American Gigolo definitely is a thing already.
Yeah, American Gigolo is a feature film. This is a remake of it as a series.
Okay.
I watched the trailer, and it looks actually good. It's on Showtime. They definitely highlight the horniness of it.
Well, it's about the sex industry. You can't
Yeah.
make it not be horny a little bit.
That's true. But it's pretty. It has a good cast. And the quality of the cinematography makes me think it's good in general. Like, I feel like this might be a hit in the making. But it's got John Bernthal in it, who is the Punisher. And I don't think you're
See,
a huge fan of his.
No, I've never. It's because anything I've seen him in, he's always been like the big idiot meathead who always causes problems for everybody.
Yeah.
But I know he's supposed to be like a really good person in general.
Yeah, I think he actually
And-
isn't good in real life. He's a good dude.
Yeah, and I like this interests me. I think I would watch this.
This man's got a 10-pack, dude. If you watch the trailer, look at his fucking 10-pack.
Well, he has to. He's the Punisher.
That's what I mean. And also, but he's also a gigolo in this.
Yes.
But he's maybe the most ripped I've ever seen a human being be. It's crazy. Got Gretchen Mol from Manchester by the Sea, which I still haven't seen because I'm scared of it.
It was okay. It was a big bummer.
Yeah, that's why I'm scared of it. I just
Yeah.
you watch.
It wasn't a bad movie by any means. It's just like prepare to feel bad for too long.
Yep, that's why I'm scared of it. I know if I watch that, I know I'm going in to cry and
Yeah.
feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And Rosie O'Donnell, who I haven't seen for a while, but she looks good in the trailer. She's playing her. I think she's a detective or something.
Yeah, I
And
haven't seen her in a while either.
She's playing the role well.
Cool.
That's it for streaming that I could find. I might have missed something this week because
There was
of
a
all the
whole lot of
D3
news,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I might have.
Yeah.
Just
go to Twitter.
tell us on Discord if I missed anything, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll bring it up next week.
Hey Jesse.
Yes.
What are we watching this week?
We're watching something that just came out on Disney Plus, and it's Thor: Love and Thunder.
Woohoo.
For our watch. You sound excited.
So we talked about this on the show before. I've seen it.
Yep.
I thought it was just fine.
Yep.
I liked it. I had a good time. But I just saw it recently, so I wasn't really intending on watching it again so soon.
Yeah.
But Jesse has still not seen it, and it just came out on Disney Plus, so we're gonna go for it and hopefully get some folks interested.
Yep. And I am primed to think I might not like this movie,
Yeah, I don't know.
but I'm also going to go in guns
Probably not.
blazing if I don't. just
That's fine.
so at least it's fucking entertaining for someone.
Yeah.
So if I don't like this, I'm going to make fun of it.
Oh, go. You're. When is that ever? Like, when have you ever not?
That's true. I just want to respect Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
But if
Taika's great.
If you made something shitty, I guess I'll make fun of it. But I don't think it's.
I don't think it's shitty.
No,
I just
think it's.
that,
I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're watching Thor: Love and Thunder for the watch along this week, coming out on Friday at 7 a.m. And if you want
Heck
to,
yeah.
if you want to go to www.idiots.fm and click on the YouTube link at the top and give us a subscription, so we can have a name.
Sub.
That'd be cool.
Give us a name, please.
We got 2 subscribers this week on YouTube.
Well, holy fuck.
We're up to 17, so we're moving right along, if you know what I mean. We're on a rocket ship to the stratosphere. We're done.
We're done.
I think-
now we're gonna go watch Supernatural.
Yeah, we're gonna watch a couple of those with Beth, maybe see what that's all
Fuck
about.
yeah.
I'm gonna play the music.
Let's do it.
Wow, listen to this music. At the end of it, it says that I do everything on this show. Why
Yeah.
don't you wait for that?
Jesse actually puppets me.
I'm not a sexist. I just do everything.
Yeah. I've never had a thought in my little head.
That's part of the reason why I want to change this, because it makes it sound like that's true, and that's not true.
Stuff produced by Jesse
I'm a
Stillwell,
robot
with
controlled
original
by
theme and
Jesse.
outro
I just,
music
when I
by
was
Jesse
producing
Stillwell.
this the first
For
time,
more
I was like, this is
information,
what you do.
visit www.appleTV.fm.
Felicia scripted by Jesse
Reach out directly via email to
Felicia scripted by Jesse Stillwell.
contact@ps.fm.
Every word that she says has been scripted beforehand
Fuck Jesse.
with a master
Written
stroke
by Jesse Stillwell.
by candlelight with a quiver. Jesse was up all night writing
quill?
everything that Felicia says. Yeah, like one of the founding fathers.
You said quiver like an arrow.
Oh. Yeah, well, you said maze
You were
earlier.
writing it with an arrow. I did not.
You fucking said maze.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.